as I said, there's so much similarity between the two, and yet, and both philosophically are thinking on the same path towards sustainability and climate change and the future. Of course, India has very, very different challenges in terms of economics, in terms of so many people in poverty, coming out of poverty. But we still know that we're moving towards a greener future. And so I think there's a lot that can be done on technology, on research, joint development programs with the government together. I spoke a little bit about school education, which in Scandinavia is known to be one of the best. Is there something that we can do to collaborate for schools, building children with 21st century skills? Because when they come out 10 years and 15 years from school, the world is going to be a very different place. So how can we collaborate to do something very, very different and build confidence for them to face the future in terms of not only just education, but even skilling? So I think there's a lot that can be done if we partner each other.
Sweden and India, I believe, share a very deep philosophical relation, as I could see that word Samband itself, as we saw in the session today. Samband means relation in Swedish, Samband means relation in the same in Indian language. So I believe India and Sweden have great Samband. We have things to share on technology, we have things to share on philosophy also. And from the interactions that I have had over past 2 days, I found many positives coming out.
That's a really good question. I think there's already a lot of collaboration between Sweden and India, as we've heard today. I think one of the ways that we could perhaps take it to the next level is to provide more opportunities for sort of informal networking between the two countries. There's obviously a lot of protocol and formalities that have to be followed when these two countries talk to each other. So if we can find more spaces to just have those, people-to-people connections, I think that's one way to sort of step up the collaboration between the two countries.
I believe the way India and Sweden can collaborate is, number one, joint research on some of the emerging technologies. As I mentioned in my presentation, 50% of what we need to get to achieve net zero from a technology perspective is still sitting at either conceptual stage or prototyping stage, which means that there's a lot of research that's happening in universities with startups that needs to be rapidly commercialized. And all the stakeholders, the finance community, the corporate world, academia and startups need to come together along with the governments to achieve this change. And that's probably the best way that Sweden and India can collaborate, bringing their collective might together.
Both the nations have a lot in common, and they have been collaborating since years now. This year is special because of the commitments we made in COP28, and certainly the world, Indian citizens, Sweden people are looking at how lead IT collaboration helps both the nation in bringing down the emissions and the transition which we want to see into the hard to abate sectors, and help the manufacturing sectors, considering India is one of the manufacturing hub and a global window to most of the manufacturing sectors in the globe. So I think both the countries can collaborate and bring up solutions, innovative solutions, and help us in towards a common aim, which is reducing the emissions globally.
I think there's a lot of room to collaborate around. I mean, obviously I'm looking at this from a cement industry perspective, where India is a big consumer of cement, a big producer of cement, but also a big producer when it comes to steel. And we see this as an opportunity from our perspective to tap into the potential raw material streams and produce our high-performing cement based on that.
There are multiple ways, but which has been put forward here is that it's important to connect people and persons so that they can together create some kind of a common views and network and then take it from there with different ideas.
A lot. Actually, I work with energy and transportation, and I see a lot of similarities actually in the policies employed by India and Sweden. For example, working with electrification of cars, but also with biofuels and putting energy of improving railway that is much needed in Sweden as well as in India. So I see many parallels. And of course, the scale of India is much larger, but the themes and the strategies are kind of similar.